Okay everyone, so this is the first video I've ever done on YouTube. Bear with me, I'm trying to edit this and get it done right. I wanted to mention some of the things that I recognize and notice. The more I watch the footage from the Chris Watts case, this footage that you see now, the more that I watch it, and each time I watch it I see something different and I realize different things each and every time, and I'm sure a lot of people are like that. A lot of people watch the footage over and over again and notice different and new things each time they watch it, and it's extremely fascinating to watch this, and it's something that we haven't really seen in society yet. A man who murdered his pregnant wife and his two beautiful daughters being caught in front of camera and in our face and recorded video for us to watch. We've never experienced that before, so that's why a lot of people are fascinated with this case. I wanted to point out some things today that I noticed, and I want to talk about them and pause the video as it goes along. We already know that he shouldn't have done that. You should just go right to your house, not in your car and around the door. It's crazy.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
We already know you shouldn't be fixated on the car. Get in your house. Now that's what I want. That's one thing that I wanted to point out was Shanann's mother, Sandra, she just said, get in the fucking house. She says it over the speakerphone when she's talking to Nicky, Shanann's friend, and she is so worried. And you can hear her on the speakerphone just now go, get in the fucking house. And remember, Shanann's mother, Sandra, has done an interview before in which she mentioned to Dr. Phil that she had a premonition in the early morning hours on that day that her daughter was gone from the earth. She said she woke up at some kind of early morning hour and the Holy Spirit had whispered her daughter's name to her, Shanann, and she knew immediately that something was wrong. And she had a mother's intuition and premonition. So remember that as you hear her say this over the phone to Nicky. Listen again. Listen carefully.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
Get in the fucking house, she says.
That's me. Yeah. The neighbors went and checked his camera and they said that a white car drove away at 1. It was me though. That was me. I dropped her off.
That was the last action on my camera.
Okay. That's throughout the whole day, or?
Besides Chris leaving.
Well, yeah.
What about this?
Nicky already knows that something is horribly wrong because the neighbor who was standing right next to her just said, and I think the neighbor's name is Nate, he just verified and said the only people that I caught, the only time that I caught any motion on my camera was when you dropped Shanann off at around 2 o'clock in the morning, and when the evil gremlin husband Chris left to go to work. That's the only time that anyone has exited or entered that house. So look at Nicky, and her body language is incredible throughout this entire footage. She's got her hand on her cheek, and she moves her hand towards her neck because it's a stress body movement. She knows something's wrong, but her mind doesn't want to go there yet. But she knows that that's wrong. She's going to put 1 and 2 together later on. She knows that that's immediately wrong, him telling her that, wait a minute, no other action, just Chris leaving and me dropping Shanann off. Shanann and the children were not seen exiting. By your camera exiting the house? How is that possible? She already knows something's wrong. Body language says it all.
What? Frantic. The girls' car seats are in the car too, so if she left with the friend, she would have took the car seats.
I can go look at, if he doesn't find her.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Huh? Chris is in the house. We're standing outside of the police office. Can we go in the house?
We can.
I mean, that's up to him. It's his house. If you guys,
Nicky, I'm giving you permission to walk in my daughter's house.
Did you just hear that? That was Sandra saying, Nicky, I give you permission to walk inside my daughter's house. Because remember, she had that premonition that same night where she knew that something was happening because the Holy Spirit said Shanann and woke her up out of her sleep, said her name, saying the name of her daughter. So she's telling Nicky, I give you permission to go inside the house no matter what that police officer tells you. Get inside my daughter's house, find out what's going on.
matter of fact,
Listen to it again.
I mean, that's up to him. It's his house. If you guys,
Nicky, I'm giving you permission to walk in my daughter's house.
matter of fact, come in, Chris. Okay.
Notice the hand is still on Nicky's neck. She's still got that nervous type of hand over the neck and cheek. She knows. It's eerie to her now. It's weird. It's feeling weird.
You checked upstairs. She's not there. I just want to make sure she's not passed out somewhere. Is she diabetic? You mind if I look around?
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
One thing I did notice, even from the first time I saw this video, is that the dog is trying to alert the police officer and Nicky and whoever else is in the house besides the demon, Chris Watts. The dog continues to bark as loudly as he can, and with there's something inside the dog's bark that tells anyone who's owned a dog before that dog is trying to say something and trying to give an account of what happened that night before, and trying to let everyone know that this man is a demon and he killed his wife and kids. The dog doesn't shut up.
Oh, you're fine.
Go outside.
Oh, you're fine.
Now anyone who has studied very further along into the case knows that the scent dogs came into the house, and the only place that they hit at in the house and gave any hits on were in the basement. Certain areas of the basement the dog hit on, and gave these certain alerts or whatever the dogs do. But they didn't do that upstairs and in any part of the house except for the basement. Was that because was that because the police officers and everyone who entered the house noticed that it smelled like cleaning chemicals, and was that because he cleaned everything else except for the basement? Or was that because what took place and the murder occurred in the basement? Because the dogs are cadaver dogs. They're supposed to smell dead bodies or whatever it is that they smell, some type of crime or some type of sweat or adrenaline or something that's left over. So is a dog hitting only in the basement because something happened in the basement, or is he hitting only in the basement because Chris cleaned everything else in the house and upstairs? Coming back up the stairs, Nikki's on it. Look at her at the top of the stairs. She wants the police officer to tell her something. Did you see anything?
Go for it. I'm checking the house for consent.
Down her phone.
Oh,
Found her phone. You son of a bitch. You found her phone because you did everything. You killed everyone, and the phone is still there, and the purse is still there, and everything is still there. You son of a bitch. You knew that the damn phone was there. You are nothing but a fucking gremlin.
well, any friends she would be hanging out with?
I mean,
I know, I guess her
Amanda,
parents are out of state.
across country, North Carolina.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's not happening.
He's so sweaty, and his body language is so, his face is so sweaty, and his body language gives everything away. It gives everything that he did away the further along you get into the footage. He's out of breath.
All the girls' blankies are gone. Their blankies they sleep with, they don't leave anywhere.
Their blankies are gone because you claim to have smothered them with it. That's why the blankies are gone. He's trying to point out the fact that the children's blankies, Bella and Celeste, the children, they always kept their blankies with them everywhere that they went. So he's trying to point out the fact that they did actually leave the house though, because the blankies are gone. The blankies are gone. Did you hear me, officer? And it's like, dude, no, your whole body language and your nervousness is going to give you away throughout this entire thing. You're not going to get away with what you did.
good. Nothing else appears to be missing though, just stuff you'd take for a quick trip.
Her phone's here? Her phone's here.
Does she work?
Now, there was one other YouTuber who pointed out the fact that when Nicky touched the phone, when Nicky learned that Shanann's phone was in the house, as soon as Nicky touched the phone, she didn't want to touch it. She went to go grab it, but then she lifted her hands up off the phone and didn't want to touch it at second thought, because she already knew that something was wrong, okay, like we spoke about in the beginning of the video. But now she really knows something wrong because the phone is actually physically here. You're kidding me. So as she went to go grab the phone, she actually didn't want to grab it. Almost like something hot and you don't want to touch it because it's going to burn you. And then she puts her hand immediately on her head, and she's going to start to rub her neck and everything again, because she just knows that something is really up. Something's really thick in the air here. Let's watch it again.
She works from home.
Her phone's here? Her phone's here.
He has no problem
Does she
touching
work?
it.
Yeah, she works from home.
Chris had no problem grabbing that phone just now. Oh, you don't want to touch it? Let me grab it. Let me try to pretend that I'm concerned with my wife and trying to pretend that I'm going to crack her code right now and go on her phone to search for clues. He doesn't have any problem. He just touched his wife's dead body, his children's dead body. He can touch the phone. Nicky can't.
Oh, from home?
She works, this is her lifeline.
This is her lifeline. You killed her life. You took her life.
So yeah, that thing turns back.
Nicky looks at him several times. from the point that they find the phone, Nikki's eyeballs are on Chris several different times after that, because she knows that something this has something to do with him. Watch her continue to rub and do the nervous body language, and watch her look at him. And his explanation, and her looking at him every time he's trying to explain.
Oh yeah, trust me.
It was shut down.
Look at her, look at him. See that?
Oh yeah, trust me.
It was shut down.
She's in the flag. Yeah.
Yeah, because you shut it down. That's why. You see how Nikki goes into the rooms, and she's comfortable going inside her friend Shanann's house and going. Now she's gonna go start going into the rooms after she found that the phone is here. She's going to start going into the rooms to look for more clues of where the hell her friend could be, because nobody leaves their phone nowadays, right? In 2019. So, and you'll notice that Chris doesn't necessarily want to let the officer know that he's nervous, although we all know it and can see it. But he also kind of peeks around the corner to see where is Nicky going inside of my house and inside of the rooms of my house too. Watch it again.
She's in the flag. Yeah. And that thing turns back on, it's gonna start blowing up. Oh yeah, trust me.
What is she gonna find inside the room?
It was shut
She
down.
going in the room of my house? Look at him, watch her. Look at him go and look at Nicky going in the room. See that?
Well, it was originally under the fellow on the couch. You know her passcode?
I don't know her passcode.
It used to be 2385, and now it's 6 digits.
He said that to make a point. Her passcode used to be 28385. I love my wife. I know her passcode. Yeah, her passcode used to be this, but now it's not. See, I'm concerned. I'm trying to get her phone open. See, I'm trying to put in the passcode, but that's not the passcode. Do you know it, Nikki? Yeah, you see, I'm concerned, right? Trying to get her phone.
Baby's due date.
1/31/8/19. And
She doesn't.
Notice how sweaty Chris is? Now his whole face is glistening with sweat. He's so sweaty and nervous, and now he's going to try to kind of verify or agree with what Nikki's saying. Yeah, and then whatever he's going to say right now. Ridiculous. She looks way more concerned on her face than his. His face still has evil in it because he just murdered 4 people. Serial killer.
Never black out or have seizures or anything like
No,
that.
I mean, long time ago.
Long time ago. He's trying to emphasize things now to get the police to believe his story. Now remember what we know about body language and about psychology and everything. He's trying to emphasize things even more to get everyone to believe his story. Look at that nervous face. Gremlin.
She got in a car wreck, and I believe that's what happened. But
She's walking away now. Nikki, I want to hear it.
She took more
Hand on the head again, Nikki, walking away.
Before, but that's just because she was in North Carolina with the humidity and everything like that. She was there for 6 weeks. And
Shut the fuck up.
She took more Amitrex this last month than she ever has before, but that's just because she was in North Carolina with the humidity and everything like that. She was there for 6 weeks.
Bitch, you killed her.
Back Monday or Tuesday, and then she flew out to Arizona Friday morning.
Friday morning. He's so nervous that he's even stuttering now. He cannot speak correctly anymore. She flew out on Friday morning. Let's listen again.
Everything like that. She was there for 6 weeks, and we got back Monday or Tuesday, and then she flew out to Arizona Friday morning, and then she got back last night.
Hey, everybody, can you notice the flushing of white over his face and the red cheeks? Hey, listen. I am, probably 50% or more Caucasian. However, I do notice this on Caucasian people when they get nervous and they start sweating and stuff. He's got that flushy white face and his cheeks are red like Rudolph the Red-Nosed. Serious.
About 2 a.m. Flight got delayed. She left about 11. She got here at 2.
Okay.
And I went to work this morning about 5:15, 5:30.
What do you do?
I work at oil and gas and Darko.
What do you do for them?
Operator.
Long days then?
I definitely still be out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always a long day, especially in that heat.
Very nervous body language right there that he had.
There's no like off text messages.
He's trying to move his body away from the police officer and away from the situation as much as he can. That's why he keeps going back to the phone, and he keeps trying to look down or trying to remove himself from the situation physically as much as he can and mentally.
You look at your camera to see for their security system.
He actually cannot even believe that he's got caught. Everybody who's studied this case and made videos about it has said he never thought he was going to get caught. He probably did have some, type of feeling that he might get caught, but he couldn't believe that it was so quickly that Nicky came and showed up and everything. He should have known because the children had to be in school that day. This is their first day of starting, whatever grade. This is just unbelievable.
Unless they went down the front door. Text messages.
Can you look at your camera to see for their security system to see when she left?
Unless they went down the front door.
Because you told me that she went on a play date with the girls. And then
Nicky is on it.
Addie said you told her that
Yeah, she went with some friends with. She left. She went to go to a friend's house with the kids. That's why.
She left. She went. She. Nicky is on it. Listen.
They weren't at school.
she went on a play date with the girls. And then
That's what she told me.
Addie said you told her that
Yeah, she went with some friends with. She left. She went to go to a friend's house with the kids. That's why I knew they weren't at school.
Addie said you told her that she left in the middle of the night.
Oh no, she didn't even know it was night. No.
Oh no. Like a nervous type of a sort of a relief of air laugh to relieve the air from his lungs. Very nervous because he knows that Nicky's on to him. He's very nervous right now because Nicky's in front of the police officer and is on to him and is saying certain things and he's getting caught up.
Yeah.
Where do you get to go to school at?
Primrose and Vista Ridge. Okay. Hey. Yeah.
Very nervous. He's like, okay, now I gotta get on the phone. Oh my gosh, the police are here, you're here, everything's happening so quickly. Okay, now I gotta get on the phone with Shanann's mom, Sandra. Oh my, okay, let's launch that again.
Where do you get to go to school at?
Primrose and Vista Ridge.
Sweating.
Okay. Hey. Yeah. No. Yeah, she said she was at a friend's house. That's what she told me.
So let's notice that he stays within this adjacent room right here. This room that he's in right now with Nicky and the police officer. Notice that as he's talking to Sandra, who is Shanann's mom, he stays in that room and he keeps his conversation in that room and he keeps his voice heard in that room. Because he wants to, again, like we've noticed before, try to convince everyone in the room, especially the police officer, that he's concerned and this is really out of character for Shanann and he doesn't know what's going on. So he keeps the conversation with Shanann's mom over the phone in this room. He doesn't take it into the bathroom. He doesn't take it into the room on his left, nowhere else. He keeps the conversation in the room because he wants the people to hear. He wants everyone around to hear what he's saying to try to validate his story even more. Remember what we know about psychology.
Nicholas.
I have no clue at whatsoever why she went to take herself home. No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
He makes sure he's loud because now he's in the room, and remember the footage, the camera is on the police officer who's standing at the same view that we're looking at now is where he is standing. So Chris, as he is in the room, makes sure that he's loud so that the police officer can even hear him, even outside of the room as he carries his conversation with Shanann's mom. He's an evil. He's a very unique type of evil. He did this because of the affair with the woman and him wanting a new life and him thinking that Shanann was going to take all of his finances and where life was going to be how he didn't want it anymore because of the divorce and the custody and everything that would have happened.
Well, yeah, I can look at that and see. But it's so random because it goes off and on here lately. It gets false trips. They told me it was open when I got here. I know it doesn't make any sense at all. possible. I don't know where she's at, where the kids are at.
He's pacing back and forth, sweating, pacing back and forth, because he's trying to get rid of the nervousness from his body. So instead of feeling the nervousness and the shaking of his body and his heart and his mind racing and the sweat, he is trying to get rid of it by just get the energy out and go walking back and forth, walking back and forth. I can't believe this is happening right now. Okay.
Only people that are out of state that she would contact would be in Arizona, be catching jobs. There's no restrictions out there.
It's Bella's room. The older daughter, Bella, 4 years old. Now let's listen to what the neighbor, Nate, is coming in to say right now. He's downstairs. Nicky hears him first because, of course, Chris doesn't care. Look at him in the corner just still trying to pretend that he's concerned and on the phone with Shanann's mother, Sandra. Now look at Nicky, and she's immediately listening to the neighbor downstairs, Nate coming in the door and saying, yeah, my camera didn't pick up anyone else leaving. Just this evil gremlin, Chris Watts right here. Yeah, He's the only one that left. Between 5 to 6 or whatever in the morning. And Nicky is right on it. She's immediately wanting to hear about her friend. She's concerned, it has general concern and love for her friend. Immediately wanting to get any tip or anything about what's going on. And the neighbor's going to come in and say, yeah, you police officer and you, Nicky, the ones who care and are listening, he's lying. It was only him leave the house and Shanann being dropped off somewhere between 2 in the morning, which was you, Nicky. This is incredible.
Shut up in the driveway and enter it for us.
I can look.
The guy with the camera said nobody left the house during the day. All the people that shut up in the driveway and entered it for us.
I can look. What's that?
Your neighbor's camera.
Your neighbor, yes, camera, she said that the only people that left the house were you and one.
See him try to have try to show some concern because he felt like that's what the police officer and Nicky were now focused on. So now he has to pretend to be focused and concerned on that. And he goes, what's that? And then now he's going to learn that the neighbor did not catch his wife leaving the house, the wife and the children. Did you not think that in 2019 that people have surveillance cameras in their home and everywhere, and that they catch the neighbors and they catch everyone and doing stuff everywhere, satellite and everything, cameras everywhere? You did not expect that? Look at his reaction.
I can look. What's that?
Your neighbor's camera.
Your neighbor, yes, camera, she said that the only people that left the house were you and one and then the door was shut. That's all he has.
I dropped her off.
Okay, that's the last thing I did.
All he can say is okay, because right now at this moment what is happening is he is becoming extremely suspect. He was suspect already, but now they know he did something, because cameras don't lie. A human being can say anything they want. They could say, pigs are purple. It doesn't matter. Doesn't make anything true. But the camera doesn't lie, and the camera did not pick up your wife and children leaving. And neighbors all around you have cameras too, so we can get it at different angles. So now the only thing that Chris can say at this point is okay, because this information, all this information that I just gave you, it hasn't processed through Chris's pea brain yet. His little small pea brain. It has not processed yet, and he is now caught. And all he can say is okay. And then now he's going to start recognizing as he starts moving along. As we start moving along here, he starts to process more and more how he's caught.
I'll see if I can get on that USA app or Chase app. See if I can get on it. I'll see. All right. Okay.
Did you see how he nervously gave that phone to Nicky and then kind of shuffled right back to the phone again to get his nervous body energy out into an object which would conveniently be the phone?
I will.
You will what? Kill your wife and kids?
All right.
Dispatch Rick 91. You can cancel medical if they're staged.
Now, what that police officer did was very intelligent, and another YouTuber did point that out. And I also noticed that the first time I watched the video as well, which would be that he got into his walkie-talkie and he goes, dispatch, and he just kind of talked, spoke for a second as a police officer. And Chris is so nervous about what he just did as a murderer that he turns around and his eyes and his eyebrows are up, and he's looking at the police officer, because he thinks that he's gonna call for backup, and now he's gonna be arrested or something like that. Something nervous is going in his head, because as soon as the police officer gets on that walkie-talkie and says something, Chris nervously turns his head to quickly look at the police officer to see what's happening. They gotta bring backup and arrest me. They know something. Watch it again.
Dispatch Rick 91. You can cancel medical if they're staged.
Yeah, keep your energy focused in the phone. Keep that nervous, evil energy in the phone. You're caught. You didn't know that you're gonna come back right back after work and be caught. Not even be able to work the whole full day. And even even Nicky's son knows that something's up, because he continues to go into the rooms to maybe subconsciously or consciously look for evidence or any type of clue or anything that he can see around as to where Shanann and the cute kids are. See that? Look at the son's body language, Nicky's son. Look at him. Look at that. Incredible. It seems as though at that moment that we just saw Nicky walk down the stairs, that Shanann's mother, Sandra, is still on the phone with her, I believe. And she must have been telling Nicky something about Chris, or something that she suspected, or it must have been some type of conversation or something that she was saying over the phone as to that degree. Because we'll look at Nicky, look at Chris, and then look at the police officer, and then walk down the stairs. Let's watch it again. See that? And he's still in the phone. He doesn't want to tell the police officer anything about what's going on with his wife or just anything. Everyone's more concerned than him. Where are your children?
So what time do you work?
Usually, once I get to work, it's like 6:30 to 3:30, 4 o'clock.
You
Nervous.
usually work nights or days?
Days.
What time do you leave the day?
What time to leave there?
No, here.
Usually between 5:30 and 6.
Not. And was Shannon here then?
Yes. Yeah, we're still
Throughout this entire footage of Chris Watts, you will see that he nervously he does a lot of pointing and a lot of turning his head to point in certain directions, because he's just trying to emphasize every time that he talks. So let's see him do it again, and then he says yes instead of yeah. He's not that correct he's not a person who speaks very eloquently like that. So and then he turns his head and he points a lot when he tries to talk about where people are in location to him. Let's say, for example, yeah, she lives around the corner, that friend or whatever. Then he'll point and he'll move his head to that direction. And the police officer just asked him something, and he pointed and he moved his head in that direction again to try to emphasize again. But he really doesn't care. He's all into his phone, taking his nervousness, evil energy out into the phone. Watch again.
Not. And was Shannon here then?
Look at the son, look at
You
him.
watch the kids, or you have daycare watch them? Or?
She usually watches the kids if they're not at school.
Okay.
Son knows something's up. Everyone can now put together that Shanann and the children were not seen leaving the house by the camera of the neighbor, Nate's camera.
At the pool?
The little rec center thing right here.
There's a pool right down there.
Yeah.
Now, because Chris knows they're not at the pool and he knows that they're dead and he knows where their bodies are, it's kind of like he reacts to this as if it's silly, and he doesn't want to take the time to go and do it, because Nicky is now coming in and saying maybe they're at the pool, which is up the street and around the corner or wherever it's located, and he knows where they are, he knows that they're dead, so he doesn't want to take the time to even do it and even feel concerned. So let's look at his body language again when she comes in and says they might be at the pool.
At the pool?
The little rec center thing right here.
There's a pool right down there.
Yeah.
Alright, I can run down there and check.
He doesn't want to. He's not going down the stairs to go and check and see if she's at the pool, to go in his car and go and check. Look.
You guys having any kind of issues, marital issues, or
We're going through separation.
you are? Did you guys file it yet or anything, or just talking about
No, we're gonna sell the house and do the separation.
it? And how's that going?
It's going
Civil for the most
Civil.
part?
Thought he might conveniently use that and throw that in there, huh? Oh yeah, we're going through a separation. That's what a lot of the men who kill their wife do a lot of times. Yeah, we were going through a separation to try to lead towards maybe she could have left on her own out of revenge towards me and take the kids and leave. But you know, he's just evil like that, which a lot of men who kill their wife, you know, they use that.
Or does your wife go to that swimming pool often, or the,
It just depends. I mean, on a hot day like this, I would say no.
Now pay attention to what he just said. It's a hot day, and Nicky has come in and asked maybe Shanann and the children are at the pool. Then the police officer is now trying to say, hey, now is there a reason, you know, why you wouldn't think that they were at the pool, or could they be at the pool? And he's so nervous that he says, did you guys hear what he said? He says, on a hot day like this, I would say no. Now, how in the hell does that make sense? Isn't it on a hot day that you go to the pool and try to relieve yourself and the children, or at least the children, of the heat? On a hot day like this, no? You're so nervous that you don't even know what's coming out of your mouth anymore. You just want to focus on the phone because you just want to be out of that situation. You don't want to be in that situation at all. You want to disappear, don't you? You want to disappear now, don't you, Gremlin? You're not going to have your way and go and have the woman that you're having an affair with and have a perfect life. You're going to rot in jail, and hopefully rot in hell.
or the
It just depends. I mean, on a hot day like this, I would say no.
Dumb. Madison, Nicky's little daughter. Cutie. Still in his phone with his nervous killer energy. Trying to escape the situation, be somewhere else. Putting his head down. Police officer is more concerned, you know, than he is. Looking at him, checking out his body language.
Says at 5:27 a.m. the overhead garage door 2 was left open and never shut.
So what, MF? So what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. He's just trying to now say things to try to overemphasize something that isn't real. Yeah, it might have been, see, it could have been a faulty alarm or something. She could have left, and maybe my alarm system didn't pick it up, or maybe something's faulty or not working right, or he's trying to insinuate. He's trying to insinuate some things because he knows what he did is wrong, and he knows he's on the path towards getting caught. So it's just all nervousness, and not expecting Nicky to react so quickly and come and show up to see where her friend is and bring the police officer. And now he's faced with a lot.
Says at 5:27 a.m. the overhead garage door 2 was left open and never shut.
Doesn't
About
make
that
it
time.
any difference to the police
So
officer.
either like when I pulled away and shut the door, it never shut. It was shut when you got here. So either the sensor was tripping out, which has happened before. I've had to replace it 2 weeks ago. Before I left.
So what? Everyone's focused on you, not that. That's irrelevant.
It says the basement door was left open at 5:26.
Stop trying to have everyone
Expected 1:48. That's when she got home.
pay attention to everything else except for you. Everyone's focused on you. Mm-hmm.
Then the visitor checked his 12 cent. That was okay.
Does it seem like the police officer cares? Shut up. You kill your wife and kids.
Were you able to pull up the video at the 12:10? See, was it front
At
door?
12:10, that was Nicky.
That was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ed was beeping at me at the out in the field.
Exactly. So what's your point? It was her. It's Nicky standing right next to you. So what's your point then? Come on, more nervousness walking into the room. Let's see. Now let's see what he's gonna do. Watch. Pay attention. Nicky's getting frustrated. And he comes out with his wife Shanann's ring around his finger, and he just brought it from their room. And he comes out and he overemphasizes it by showing it to Nicky when he's actually more so trying to show it to the police officer. But he doesn't want to directly show it to the police officer. He would rather show it to somebody who actually knows Shanann and is Shanann's friend and has a personal relationship with Shanann, to kind of try to show, look, see how we were having marital problems and now she left her wedding ring in the room, in the dresser or wherever. See how she might have walked out with the children and left? Trying to overemphasize that point and make sure that he has people believe into that. It was on the nightstand, he says. He put it there. Now, instead of making himself appear to be innocent, he's made himself look even more guilty in the eyes of Nicky and the police officer. He's just making himself look more and more guilty as we go along. And you guys, thank you for watching this video. Pick up where we left off on my next video. This video that I'm watching here is credited to True Crime Troy, Troy. That's where this is the footage in the video that we're looking at now. Please watch my second video, and I hope you enjoyed.